Damn.
Ding, ding, ding.
Yeah. We've been muted for the last 3 minutes. Damn. We've been talking some real good stuff to y'all. And y'all ain't heard it for the last 3 minutes. Thanks for staying tuned in. This is Tough Talks with Thili and Dablock.
Just so you know, Sam Roberts, we said very, very complimentary things about you.
Very complimentary. We're just not going to repeat them.
No, because that would take a long time.
He's technically the competition.
He is, but he's also an on-air personality. He's on all the pre-shows. He's on the. He's on what's it called? He does commentary on Main Event now, weekly.
If he were mixed with black, his hair would be curlier than a motherfucker.
Oh, you don't understand how many jokes were made at the thought that maybe Sam's dad wasn't Sam's dad on the Opie and Anthony show.
Oh my gosh!
They consistently would make jokes about that.
That's great.
But yeah, all we'll say is we did say very complimentary things. We love Sam. Sam's great.
Sammy!
I love that he's finally getting to be on WWE programming because I've been listening to him talk about WWE programming since I was a child, even before podcasts were a thing. When it was just talk radio.
Talk radio. Do you guys know what talk radio is? This technically talk radio, except we on the internet.
Yeah, it's internet talk radio.
Internet talk radio.
But yeah, so I'll just cover. We're gonna talk about last week's Raw, then we're gonna talk about SmackDown from last week and Clash of Champions. I also have to say some shit about the UFC from last weekend.
Yeah. Shout outs to Cam. I was talking about having him on an episode. You know what I mean? My dude returned to Distinct in full force. You know what I mean? Who? Speaking Cam LaForm. Yeah, he's a beast on the mic. But speaking of talented musicians, we gotta give kudos to one of the members of Choom Gang who have been nominated 6 times for the Niagara Music Awards. That is impressive.
Choom, baby.
Choom.
Very, very, very grateful. Thank you to everybody who voted. It's really cool to see. We will see you on the 29th for sure. Choom Gang is going to be at those awards in almost full force.
Almost full force.
Yeah, well,
it's full of forces.
There is the matter of one of us being in a different province.
Oh. Yeah.
But it's still awesome. We're very, very happy. I've never been nominated for any sort of Niagara Music Award before, so it's really lovely. We'll say fuck y'all for not getting as many votes out from my boy here at the block. Because my boy definitely should have been nominated in more than one category. Even it's crazy. But
I'm humbled.
You are, and that's why you should be less humble because you should just bump on motherfuckers.
Oh, don't get me wrong. I know there were people talking about me in a negative way that tarnished my shine.
Show me where.
Oh,
I will go Iron Sheik on those fools. I will suplex those jabronis.
All I'm gonna say right now is Howie Mandel. Enough said. All I'm gonna say is Howie Mandel. Shout out to Howie Mandel.
Shout outs to Howie Mandel.
You know what I mean?
Fucking
that's what's up. You know
deal
I mean?
or no deal.
You know what I mean? Deal or
Germophobia.
No deal. You know what I mean?
Bobby's World.
Funny, you got it. You got it, bro. You got it. Don't forget, what's the next one? America's Got Talent. Yeah, America's Got Talent.
I'm gonna forget that one. That's alright. I'm fine.
Canada Got Talent too, motherfuckers.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I'm okay without the America's Got Talent show, but Deal or No Deal used to be my shit.
Deal or No
Him
Deal?
calling the banker and like shit talking him was always lovely.
It was the greatest.
Yeah. And once again, to bring it back to that, he was a regular on the Opie and Anthony show quite a few times, and just a funny motherfucker. That guy can talk, and like you wouldn't know how funny he was necessarily off of how PG he is all the time, because everything he does is a PG thing, or even a G thing. But he's killing it. He's a bad motherfucker. I love him.
He's all over the place.
Yeah. But
we're here to talk sports,
Wrestling.
combat sports.
Wrestling. We here for some wrestling. WCW style wrestling.
All right.
Down south.
The OC confronts Seth Rollins, Braun Strowman, and Stone Cold Steve Austin during Universal Championship match contract signing.
I can't even bring up the thing I wanted to just bring up because it didn't happen until this week, for fuck's sakes.
Ain't that a bitch?
Yeah, it is.
That's why we have a regularly scheduled program.
I know.
It's all good, though.
Works a bitch.
Yeah, well,
but I love my work.
Right now.
I love my work. I love all of my works.
Have you ever been to the works?
Yeah, I got a free burger from them for my birthday that we were talking about off air.
Yes. I wasn't sure if you actually...
It's right down the street. I used to work above the works.
Ain't that some shit?
At a call center.
It's like people used to walk past the block in shock.
Yeah.
All right. After the chaos of last week's Raw opening, would the presence of Stone Cold Steve Austin be enough to carry Seth Rollins and Braun Strowman's Universal Championship match contract signing to the finish line? The answer is, of course.
Oh, hell yeah. They really should have put that. The answer was, oh, hell yeah.
In capital. No, they said, of course. Hell yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, they should have put it in capitals.
It should have just been, oh, hell yeah.
Yeah. Well, yeah.
Benino, we love you, but Jesus Christ.
Not only was the deal signed, sealed, and delivered, but the second straight interruption from the OC was quickly turned inside out thanks to the Texas Rattlesnakes' presence. After the OC's trash talk led to a retaliatory strike by Rollins and Strowman that took out Luke Gallows and Carl Anderson, AJ Styles found himself alone in the ring with Austin, who probably hit the two-time WWE champion with an emphatic stunner and left, having quite satisfyingly arrived and raised hell to boot.
Hell yes, he did. Yes, he did. This was a great segment. I love that AJ got to take a Stone Cold Stunner. Good for him.
Yeah.
That is fucking fantastic. I can only imagine that that's something that, like, kind of, like, almost like bucket list-ish for him, you know what I mean? Like, he was a massive fan of the Attitude Era and that time frame. So you can only imagine, as a wrestler who is just outside of the time Stone Cold was wrestling, that's something he always wanted to take. Because he's been a perennial heel as well, throughout his career.
Yeah.
So, like, if he had been in WWE and used, because he was in WWE for a bit in the developmental, but, I just think he would have... I think that was a huge thing for him last week. So happy.
If they had an NXT back in the day in the Attitude Era, like, he would have been... Seth Rollins.
Yeah, he would have been kicked through NXT so quickly right up to main roster when they saw what he could do. They just didn't give him the shots when they had him signed for a little bit.
He was way too radical for their era.
He was young, too.
Yeah,
he was young.
He was younger than the Hardys.
And you know what? It was all for the best, because without him leaving WWE back then, we never would have got the TNA AJ, which leads to the New Japan AJ, which leads to Bullet Club AJ, which leads to Club and AJ in WWE. Because Gallows and Anderson and AJ, they signed their contracts on the same day as each other. Like, they were a package deal. You know what I mean? They all came together.
Yeah.
So, and that was a year after Prince Devitt, a.k.a. Finn Balor, got his ass over here. Because he came earlier, and AJ replaced him as the leader of the Bullet Club. History lesson, folks.
Yeah? Paying attention. Cedric Alexander defeats United States champion AJ Styles by disqualification. Oh, I'm about to sneeze.
Oh.
It's going to be a big one. Oh, okay. Who announces their sneezes, really? If turnabout is fair play, then nobody is going to begrudge Cedric Alexander for jump-starting his match with AJ Styles just seconds after the Phenomenal One was laid low by a stunner from Stone Cold Steve Austin. After all, it was Styles and the OC who ambushed the former WWE Cruiserweight Champion last week, debatably playing a part in costing Alexander a King of the Ring quarterfinal match against Baron Corbin. But the rest of the OC had no intention of leaving Styles unguarded. Luke Gallows and Carl Anderson ambushed Alexander again mid-match, handing the former champion a disqualification win and teeing him up for a second meeting, which was only stopped by the unlikely yet very welcome arrival of the Viking Raiders, whose lingering issues with the OC from a few weeks back finally came to the fore. Eric and Ivar handily helped Alexander to dispatch the Good Brothers, leaving Styles and Co. with more questions than answers for the second straight time in half an hour.
So, this was a great match. Like, anytime you put AJ in the ring with a bad motherfucker like Cedric Alexander or Ricochet or maybe at some point in the future a Tony Nese or
Gulak.
A
Gulak is nice still.
He's very nice. Or anybody, any of these young cats who are killing it, young bad motherfuckers. Put him in there with my boy Matt Riddle one time.
Oh man.
Put him in there with my boy.
Barefoot.
He does. Put him in there with my boy Adam Cole. Baby. Or Kyle O'Reilly. Or anyone from the Undisputed Era. In fact, please just give me the Club versus the Undisputed Era at a pay-per-view one day, please.
Set it up for SummerSlam. You got enough time.
Just give me that.
You got enough time.
I need it in my life.
Shut up right now.
I need it in my life.
The OC?
OC. Versus
with Balor, it would have to have with Balor.
Yeah, you do 4-on-4.
Yeah, it'd have to have Balor.
Yeah, and versus the UE. And just give me that. So, but anytime you put him in there with young, talented people, he is going to make them look like $1 trillion if they're $1 billion.
Like what we do here at Expose the North.
All day. So, AJ versus Cedric is going to be a fucking amazing feud. A phenomenal feud, if you will. Because it's just so good. Everything about it is going to be high-flying, intense shit. I mean, spoilers for next week's episode, but Jesus Christ, that Super Styles Clash, and that other Styles Clash on the outside, and the Styles Clash on the inside of the ring. When's the last time we saw that many Styles Clashes in a night?
I don't know. They must have just
or in a week, or in 2 weeks.
They must have just finished the lawsuit from the last one.
Boom, boom, boom. Yeah, they just settled. 3 cases. They just settled with James Ellsworth, who's still in a coma from taking the one off the steps that time.
Jesus Murphy, that one was just devastating.
That was devastating. And AJ saved his life in that one because stupid James Ellsworth tucked his neck like it was a regular bump and fucking almost broke his fucking neck. Ugh. AJ let go of his one arm with the leg and let him hit properly. Ugh. But he would have died if that didn't go a different way. So, I mean, all those with Cedric were incredible. Cedric sells like $100 bajillion. That guy is one of the best sellers in the business right now.
Yeah. Sometimes he's oversold a couple of times, but then it was just funny.
But you know what? You know who who the greatest seller of all time is? HBK.
Okay, I was gonna say.
You ever see HBK versus Hulk Hogan at SummerSlam? It's not good. The selling is not good in that. There's a lot of it, and Sean sure is selling. But he's not selling appropriately. Like, he's, flying off the fucking rails.
Oh, man, yeah.
So,
Much that shot,
all the best do weird shit.
But then you have Flair.
That was his gimmick before. I'm talking SummerSlam in the modern era.
But then you have Ric Flair.
Ric Flair's is number 2.
Like, just the up the ropes and then back down the ropes and then the 3 steps into the ring and then face plant. But come on, man.
That's my favorite sell of all time. That is my favorite sell
That's
ever.
Priceless, though.
It's so over the top, but perfect. Like, this is why the last 2 times where there's been health scares with Rick, I've spent the day in pieces. Because I love Ric Flair so much.
He's such a good... He's just
amazing.
He's just good for the industry.
He's good for the world. The world will be less than with Ric Flair not in it.
Now, who do you think carries more weight, Hogan or Flair?
Flair. Flair ain't never had
no God. Hesitate with that.
Flair
one.
ain't never had no fucking tapes of him fucking Bubba the Love Sponge's wife and then going on racist rants. Ain't never seen Ric Flair do that. You know why? Because Ric Flair loves ladies of all color. Rick, you know there's no segregation in the line for Space Mountain. Oldest ride, longest line. Woo!
You're killing me right now.
How could anybody not love a guy who said that? He literally said, "Oldest ride, longest line." Woo!
I need a better transition than that. I need a better transition.
So, Ric Flair's had health scares, and so have the kids from Connor's Cure.
There we go. All right. We're not laughing at the kids. We're laughing at the transition.
Mostly.
Oh, my gosh. Roman Reigns introduced the Connor's Cure Superstars of Tomorrow. I'm just going to disregard that. No, I'm good.
I'm a monster, and let me just acknowledge that I'm a monster. That is not how I feel at all. I was not laughing at the kids. I was just laughing at how horrific that joke I made was.
Ric Flair's had house scares. And so these kids from Connor's Cure. Like, I mean, I said I need a better... It was, technically, a better transition. It was. I can't lie.
Let's not take anything away from me.
It was savage. Let's not take anything away from me.
I'm going full Tina Graves today, baby. For the rest of the show, it's Tina Graves. I was too nice for the first two matches.
Oh, man. September is Pediatric Cancer Awareness Month. And as a part of the WWE's continued partnership with the V Foundation and Connor's Cure, and as a part of Roman Reigns' continued effort to raise awareness, the Big Dog came to help introduce the WWE Universe to the Superstars of Tomorrow. Julius the Sarcoma Warrior. Jesus. Antonio.
How did I pick this segment to go heel?
Antonio the Arrival Miguel, the Mighty M Liam, the Red Ninja, Liana Lily Terror.
That's a horrible kayfabe name.
Hey. I'm just reading them. I didn't make them. All survivors and warriors in their own rights, and all whom were showered with our heroes welcome by the WWE Universe. To join the fight and help the Superstars of Tomorrow today, please visit Connor the Crusher for more. ConnorTheCrusher.com for more.
I'm so happy that everyone was so respectful during that segment.
Like, why is this the picture? Like, are you sure? This is the best picture you could have gotten?
Best picture for me.
Raw Women's Champion
Y'all can
Becky
go look
Lynch.
at the thumbnail on WWE.com if you want to know why.
And Charlotte Flair defeated SmackDown Women's Champion Bayley and Sasha Banks.
Becky, too. Never mind.
And then you got that.
That's why you get that picture. To be fair, if we were zoomed out more and could see the whole like frame of that, I might make that my goddamn iPhone wallpaper today.
Honestly, I'm looking at it and I'm just like, this is
fire. That's a fire picture.
Like, you got all kinds of
You got
detail.
all of that. You got all of that.
All kinds of detail.
But then you got, like, how, like, look at that. That's a dope 9x16. Oh, yeah. I'm getting in the weeds here, but I am getting that as my fucking wallpaper.
Unusual times make for unusual allies, and with the Boston Hunt connection broken bad, it fell to a very likely team to put them in their place. Becky Lynch and Charlotte Flair. That they did in a tag team bout that pit the four horsewomen against each other speaks well at least half of the victor's chances on the weekend. What the fuck did I just read? That they did it in a tag team bout that pit the four horsewomen against each other speaks well to at least half of the victor's chances this weekend at Clash of the Champions, where Becky Lynch will defend the Raw Women's title against Sasha Banks, while Charlotte Flair challenges Bayley's SmackDown Women's Championship. Though it goes without saying, a Sunday sweep is far from a sure thing. For one, Bayley and Banks gave their opponents fits through the match, leading on their tag team experience. Remember, they were the first WWE Women's Tag Team Champions. To put the impromptu pairing on their heels, Becky also made a point to target Banks outside the ring and in the middle of the match, putting the fate of the bout in jeopardy when all four women brawled around the ring. But Charlotte, who was calm, cool, and collected throughout, played closer in a ruthless fashion. The 9-time women's champion blocked the top rope elbow drop from Bayley and nailed the natural selection to prove that, at the very least, the Queen may be a step ahead of the SmackDown Women's Champion as their title bout approaches. Whether Becky can say the same about Sasha, however, is a question still to be answered.
So, shit, I almost said something that wasn't until Clash of Champions. I loved this. Like, I thought this was great. Becky is killing it in her, like, ruthless. I am a champion and I'm going to defend it, and I want to defend it against you, and I'm coming after you. Like, she is not sitting around waiting to get attacked anymore.
Nope.
She is, I'm going after you because you went after me enough that I don't have to wait on you anymore. I know it's coming, so I'm going to get to it first.
She's one bad lass.
One bad lass, and she's killing it. I loved it. Charlotte is also killing it again in a way that I felt she hadn't been in a little bit. I love what Charlotte's doing right now. I think she's, obviously her in-ring capabilities are second to none, really. Like, she can do fucking everything.
She's fantastic.
She can do hardcore, like, just ass kicking. She can do impressive technical stuff. She's gonna have a match. She's gonna have a match at Hell in a Cell.
But
she might even face Bayley again.
Becky's wardrobe, the reverse Kill Bill thing.
Becky, 2 nips.
Okay, sure.
Cheers.
I don't know if I can endorse that.
She doesn't have 2 belts anymore, but her shirt is a little revealing, unintentionally, I think. It's like watching Friends, any scene Jennifer Aniston's in.
You can't argue with a good point.
I'm not saying it in a way of like, oh my god, we get to see her nips or her shirt. I just mean literally, it's a little distracting when every time she walks out, it looks like she put an ice cube on both of them for a second.
This is just constructive criticism.
Just.
I think it's the leather though. Like, you can't really wear leather and not, like, if a dude were to wear a leather shirt.
I know, but I think they need to put, like, some pasties on her or something.
Like those.
See, ladies, I know what pasties are.
I don't. So
pasties is the little things that girls wear that cover their nipples if they're wearing something that's like a see-through shirt, or like, remember when Janet Jackson got the thing popped off and she had that weird like star thing on her nipple?
Yeah.
That was like a flat black star.
Yeah.
That was a pasty. It's a thing that literally just like, it's an adhesive strip that goes over the nipples to prevent them from showing through shirts if someone's not wearing a bra. And like, I just feel like that would be, I mean, it'd probably be not detrimental. It'd probably be looked at poorly by some who are happy for that. I'm just the thing where like I don't know if she cares. She obviously doesn't, because it's not like it's not been like this since WrestleMania. It was like that exactly when she was walking down the ramp at WrestleMania. Because I remember my friend I was watching WrestleMania with going, "Holy shit!" about it.
Oh man!
So like it,
to tell you the truth, I didn't really notice it.
See, and that's because you're a respectable person. I am a piece of garbage.
I just, like, as we're talking about it, I'm flashing back over the months of like footage that I have.
Like, oh my god, it's true. But I didn't realize it.
Yeah, like, I'm looking at her hair, the different ways it's braided.
She's savage.
Her
whole look
makeup
is amazing, but, like, I love gear. Like, I love gear
the way
so
the gear
much.
changes. Like, you saw when she first came back and she was in the black with the yellow stripe.
Yeah,
I was like,
reverse Kill Bill.
Reverse Kill Bill,
exactly. But, like, and I love her gear. I think her gear looks dope.
Yeah.
Like, but that's the reason why I noticed it so immediately, was because I'm like, oh shit, new gear. Hello. Like, you know what I mean? It's just, it's like if Naomi came out in the completely skin tight, flesh colored tights that what's her name? That Eva Marie made, where they literally have the seam meant to go in the ass crack and show off your complete ass, and someone said not saying, "Yo, y'all see Naomi's fucking booty?" Because I thought it looked crazy before.
Yeah.
But if she's coming out basically naked with like cellophane wrapped around her legs, people are gonna notice.
Yeah, this is true. This is very true.
But it's, once again, I mean, it's a weird tangent I guess we went on. I didn't even mean to do that, but it's just one of those things that trips me out where I'm like, every week? She really loves wrestling.
That could be it. maybe that's what it is. Rey Mysterio defeats Grand Metalik. Oh, people have been asking if Rey Mysterio is back. We're thinking he is. After an emotional almost retirement that he got talked out of last second by his son, the legendary superstar made his official in-ring return against Grand Metalik in a victorious effort on Raw. If Mysterio's victory seemed somewhat inevitable, there was simply too much emotion to play for him except defeat. Metalik certainly made him work for, as fun-loving as the King of the Ropes has been with the Lucha House Party of late. He's one of the most accomplished luchadors of all time, and was runner-up in the 2016 Cruiserweight Classic. Oh, really?
Oh, Grand Metalik is a savage. He's been a savage for a hot minute, and like that's why they call he's King of the Ropes is not a nickname the WWE made up. Like he's been called that for a hot minute. He's a goddamn talented luchador.
Okay, it was that version of Metalik that Mysterio got on Raw, and it was that version he had to outsmart and outgrind. Perhaps his task was taller than Mysterio expected. The King of the Ropes casually swatted away Mysterio's signature maneuvers at the start of the match, accompanied by a taunting finger wag, no less, and a step-up plancha over the ropes left the ultimate underdog looking worse for wear. But Rey found a way, as he always does, finally landing Metalik on the ropes before connecting with a 619 frog splash combo to secure the win. After the match, Mysterio showed sportsmanship to his opponent by shaking Metalik's hand and in thanks for bringing the best out of him, and perhaps for setting the bar for all his opponents to follow.
How fucking crazy would it have been if fucking Rey went heel there? And just kicked the living shit out of fucking Grand Metalik after beating him.
Elbows, straight to the jaw.
Stops doing high-flying shit. To extend his career, he turns heel and just starts doing fucking ground and pound shit on everyone.
Man.
Submission moves. Goes to NXT on Wednesday nights.
Oh, man.
And is in the Cruiserweight title scene. Put that Cruiserweight belt on Rey and let him run roughshod by not doing any high-flying shit ever. Until he turns face right before his last match. And then his last match is all the last high-flying shit he ever has to do, and then he goes away. It'd be amazing. That'd be an amazing final run for Rey Mysterio.
We have recordings of these ideas, so if we see them reproduced, we are going to, talk to you about them.
That's an original fucking idea, so you can't say that you thought of that.
Nah. You know why? Because it was said on Tough Talks with Thili and Dablock. Yeah. I said Tough Talks with Thili. I pulled the brake. Oh, man. Baron Corbin defeats Ricochet and Samoa Joe to advance the King of the Ring final. And get put to sleep.
Just about.
2 weeks ago, King Corbin was a joke. Don't even say it. A boast. A braggadocious dress-up play by a man who's remained so utterly loathed by the WWE Universe that they simply did not allow themselves to believe it could come true. Now,
I just want to say that I never said that. The whole time I said it was likely.
It's one match away from becoming a reality. Baron Corbin is in the King of the Ring final, having won the first triple threat tournament in history. Triple threat in tournament history. Jeez, man. To leave Ricochet and Samoa Joe in the dust, and the throne just inches from his grasp. You know what I feel like having right now? Some jalapeno poppers. I just got a little hungry.
I mean,
Okay.
who don't love those?
Jalapeno poppers are bomb, yeah.
You know who doesn't? Evil people.
Evil people. Soulless minions of the underworld.
Nazis.
Yeah.
No.
Okay. Corbin's victory was unlikely, and not just because of the crowd support. In the final stretch of the match that had been, for the most part, a dead heat, the Lone Wolf found himself locked in Joe's Coquina clutch and fading fast before Ricochet took out both his opponents at once with a moonsault off the apron. With the Lone Wolf seemingly dispatched, Ricochet escaped a clutch of his own to hit Joe with the 630, but unbeknownst to him, Corbin had recovered and picked his moment to strike. The former constable threw Ricochet over the barricade and brazenly stole the pin, taking a spot in the tournament final, where he'll face either Elias or Chad Gable for the throne. Perhaps we should have seen this coming, for all of the disdain heaped on Baron Corbin by the WWE Universe. The man assembled a truly impressive honorifics. Should he prevail, history won't look back on him as a superstar whose reign nobody saw coming, but as one who perhaps should have been the favorite all along.
They will remember it as one that one man saw coming. My lord. I mean, yeah, great, amazing match. Ricochet and Samoa Joe will never let you down. Corbin will quite intentionally let you down every time, which is so wonderful. It's you know, we won't talk about results or anything, but I love wrestling that makes me feel something, like where it can legitimately, you know, make me rapturous with fucking joy, just so happy, or make me heartbroken. And wrestling, when it does that, is the best wrestling ever. And that shit happens. Like, that shit happened very recently, and god damn it was I happy when it did. But we won't go into more of that till, well, later in this episode, but also next week.
Yep. Natalya defeats Lacey Evans. Would you look at that? Last week, a revved-up Natalya fell victim to a less than sportsmanlike strategy by Lacey Evans, leading to a woman's right and a 1-2-3 for the beleaguered Queen of Hearts. But things might finally be turning around for the former SmackDown Women's Champion. Natalya made handy work of the sassy Southern Belle, overwhelming her early on and after some immediate disrespect from Evans. Lacey took control of more dirty pull in the outside, but her pause to symbolically toss a handkerchief in Natalya's face, similar to the distraction that got her the win last week, backfired when the Queen of Hearts booted her in the stomach and locked her in the sharpshooter for the victory. Natalya pointedly refused to release the hold after the bell was
that was nasty
as well, sending an unmistakable message to anyone who thought she'd be easy pickings. The cruel summer is over, and things will be different going forward.
Natalya should be ashamed of herself for pulling such a
nasty
tactic against such a classy Southern lady.
Natty. Y'all ain't playing.
Oh, that was awesome. No, that was amazing. I love Natty. And it was so brutal when she fucking just boot fucked that lady. She boot fucked Lacey right in the stomach, and it was awesome.
It was quite the boot.
So good.
The boot.
And I mean, I don't know what they're doing with Lacey right now. Like, just this random kind of feud with Natalya that's just ongoing, but not really moving anywhere. Like, it keeps happening, but it's not changing much. You know, they're kind of just volleying victories back and forth. So we'll see where they go with it. I'm interested because, I mean, I'm going to be honest. We wouldn't talk about it right now anyways, but I don't remember their segment from last night. And that's probably not a great thing to say about the story, but it's true. So, I mean, I think it should either go somewhere or end. and get them both onto something different. But we'll see. We'll see where they go. I'm very interested to see what they're doing now that Heyman is getting more and more time just flat out in control.
Yeah. By the way, Heyman's been running the show lately.
Yes, sir.
I wonder if they're gonna let leave Bischoff tonight.
I don't know. Depends if there's an XFL meeting, I suppose.
XFL. All right, you want to do this one? Can you read it from there?
Yeah, I can. So, Bray Wyatt taught about Stranger Danger on Firefly Funhouse. This is the best segment every goddamn week. Welcome to the Firefly Funhouse, where strangers are just friends you haven't met yet. At least that's Bray Wyatt's view of things. Though he had to teach us his funhouse pals to come around to his view, Ramblin' Rabbit, Huskus the Pig, Mercy the Buzzard, and Abby the Witch had been all bent out of shape ever since Stone Cold Steve Austin made friends with Seth Rollins and Braun Strowman. Abby's clock was even stuck at 3:16. Can you believe it, kids? But Bray, somewhat incensed by the increasing cries of stranger danger, quieted his crew and fixed Abby's clock by smashing it with a hammer, causing it to read 11:19 instead, which, as many... What is 11:19? Is that Hell in a Cell? No. Hell in a Cell is like 3 weeks away. What's on 11:19?
I want to say Extreme Rules.
No, we already had Extreme Rules like a month ago.
Tables, ladders, and chairs, sir.
Maybe. So,
okay, Google.
What wrestling about?
When is Tables, Ladders, and Chairs?
TLC, Tables, Ladders, and Chairs 2019 is on Sunday, December 15th, 2019.
December.
Survivor Series.
Okay, Google. When is Survivor Series?
Survivor Series 2019 begins on Friday, November 22nd, 2019, and ends on Monday, November 25th, 2019.
Okay. So, you know what? That was probably just the actual time. That was probably just the actual live time of this. No,
Maybe.
Because 11:19 would be past when the show's off the air.
Yeah.
We'll have to figure this out after.
Yeah.
11:19 is got to be some sort of Easter egg, though. He also took the opportunity to remind them that Seth and Braun had made 3 new friends in Cedric Alexander and the Viking brothers, proving that strangers aren't inherently bad. Unfortunately, where they're going, friends won't save them. And the Fiend, who is practically invoked by what Rollins and Strowman took from Bray in another life, wouldn't forget. This is amazing. Bray Wyatt is a goddamn genius. Everything that he's doing with this, we'll talk about it more next week, but Heyman and him obviously turned this week into like a giant episode of Firefly Funhouse. Like the whole episode of Raw was, started and ended with Firefly Funhouse.
Basic. Oh man, what are you talking this week or last week?
This week.
This week? Oh my god.
The long version of it at the end. That long version was like
it was
2 minutes, and
bro.
It was terrifying.
It was fucking.
I couldn't believe they let it go on so long. I was like, this is amazing.
Disturbingly, like
terrifying. And there was new lyrics that got added to it and stuff. It was a longer version than we've ever heard.
Yeah.
It was very interesting. And there was that point right after the opening segment where everything went upside down for like 3 minutes.
Yep, and then it turned black and white.
Yeah, like, they're going all in with it, and I love it. What a brother.
I just saw you though.
Oh, yeah, that's all. Oh, Ruru's got his mustache. Ruru's already got his mustache in WWE Supercard.
Yeah.
Fuck yeah, everybody.
Yeah,
we
man.
win. We all won. We all just won.
Yeah.
That's fucking amazing.
Yeah.
But speaking of us all winning, Bray Wyatt is just amazing. And
yeah,
I'm hesitant to say it now because I'm terrified of it not happening after I say it. Bray Wyatt is going to be the Universal Champion before the end of 2019. He is.
I don't want to argue that, but
He
at the
is.
same time, I'm not sure ready to see Rollins lose it yet.
He is, and we are ready.
Like, he has to take out... Well, they are doing an excellent job building him up by having him take out the legends that he is.
He's terrifying.
Like,
He's terrifying right now.
he didn't get Austin.
No, but he got Kane.
Yeah, Kane,
Spoilers.
Angle,
He got Kane, Angle. He got Mick Foley.
and he got Finn Balor.
He got Finn Balor. He's taking people out, man, and he's adding to his wall of friends.
Yep.
And he's going to be the fucking Universal Champion by the end of 2019. Mark my words.
Words have been marked, and you heard it here first on Tough Talks with Thili and Dablock.
Potentially as soon as Hell in a Cell.
Universal and Raw Tag Team Champion Seth Rollins, Raw Tag Team Champion Braun Strowman, Cedric Alexander, and the Viking Raiders defeat the OC, Dolph Ziggler, and Robert. Woo!
Boo.
Yeah, yo. You know, Robert's gone back to his full beard.
Yeah, because you can't have two fucking mustaches fighting it out in the heel division. Fucking him and Rusev's mustaches would be fucking competing, and that's not fair. Because Rusev's mustache is fucking fantastic.
It is.
It's fucking incredible.
I'm not gonna lie.
It's so hardcore. He looks like such a pimp.
Like, he looked different. He looked like a different person entirely.
He's
cut at
also
least-
shredded now.
He's lost at least another 20, 40
He's
pounds.
shredded.
Yeah, and like that's just...
There was the one shot where like he was doing the hurrah thing, and it was like an angled on him.
Yeah.
You could see how big his fucking traps and shit were.
Yeah.
Oh lord.
But he's doing the primal roar.
Oh lord.
Yeah, yeah.
No wonder Lana couldn't be there. She'd fucking be passing out with the vapors. Fucking unbelievable. But like they're just, I hate that team so much. Robert Roode and fucking Dolph Ziggler is just fucking atrocious. I was trying to think of something mean to call Dolph, but I've already called him everything. Fucking asshole.
It took a little longer than anticipated, but Cedric Alexander got his man. The former WWE Cruiserweight Champion pinned the United States Champion AJ Styles in the final moments of the truly chaotic 10-man tag team match that encompassed champions, challengers, and a grudge match all in one. On the side of the victors were Alexander, Seth Rollins, Braun Strowman, and the Viking Raiders. The losing side encompassed the entire OC, as well as Dolph Ziggler and Robert Roode, who challenged Rollins and Strowman for the tag team tag team titles. God damn, I'm reading too fast. Okay. Who challenged Rollins and Strowman for the Raw tag team titles on Sunday. It was the Viking Raiders who proved to be the difference maker. In particular, Ivar, who took out the entire field with a top rope cannonball to the outside near the end of the match. That astounding maneuver brought things down to Alexander and Styles, and Cedric pounced with a lightning-quick lumbar check to steal the match. Right on cue, the glass shattered and Stone Cold Steve Austin re-emerged to kick off a Broken Skull IPA beer bash with the winners, ending Raw with in a truly classic fashion. Lost in the well-deserved thrill of victory, however, was one interesting wrinkle. Braun Strowman had the match all but won earlier on until Rollins was shoved on top of him to break the pinfall. The miscue led to the first friction between the Raw Tag Team Champions and the Universal Championship opponents. But perhaps a hint of stormy skies for this weekend. For now, however, Stone Cold is here and the IPAs are flowing, and all is well. Anything beyond that is a problem for Sunday.
It was a very cool match. I love how much TV time they've been giving Cedric. I think that's fantastic. That's really, really cool for him. I mean, he was in 2 matches this week, you know, and the segment before it. So, just great. Awesome match. You can't have these 6 guys in there and it not be at least cool. Overall, once again, Ziggler you could do without, but the best thing is, like, exactly what they said. Hell yeah, it was a classic fashion to end Raw. Like, it was amazing. We haven't had one of those goddamn beer parties fucking properly in a hot minute, except for at the Raw reunions.
Yeah, the Raw reunion was epic.
He fucking killing it. Stone Cold should be back whenever they're around. Like, whenever they're around town that he's in, just fucking please, just bring him in. Just bring him in to do something fun. Because that guy is just as charismatic as he's ever been.
Okay.
So we should move on to Smack Diggity.
Yeah, that's what we're doing. I'm just going through my wish right now. I got a notification and I'm trying to see if there's something I could buy to trade for something that I want. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Sometimes you gotta buy something you have absolutely no use for to get it for, to get something that you need. I've seen this happen a couple of times. I've made this happen a couple of times. My wife's better at it than I am. You know what I mean? I trade a phone, I get a phone. She trades a phone, she has 2 phones, a watch, 2 chargers, and the flipping, and the phone case. It's like,
yeah. In 3 months of fucking
you know what I mean?
freeze.
You know what I mean? Like, how are you doing this?
No.
Yeah.
They're negotiators.
I find that they take more time.
They do. That's why they're better shit. We don't care about getting the best shit if we... we don't care about getting the better shit as long as we get shit now.
Yep.
It's immediate satisfaction rather than...
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, yep. I'm trying to learn better.
I'm not. I like immediate gratification.
Oh, don't get me wrong.
That's why I love video games.
Oh, I'm all about
I shoot something, I get 100 points. Sounds fair to me.
Oh, man.
I fucking get on my horse and go for a treasure hunt in New Austin. And I get, $40 and a gold bar. Good enough for me. Red Dead Redemption 2 is a shit. Everyone go play it.
Alright, duly noted.
Oh, poor Sammy.
Sammy I don't know what Sammy's doing. Zayn is just insane right now. It's just a whole different ballgame. The Undertaker annihilated Sami Zayn in Madison Square Garden. The Undertaker's return to Madison Square Garden was as chilling as it was destructive. Chilling for the WWE Universe, who got to experience a Phenom's jaw-dropping entrance. Destructive for one Sami Zayn. The Reaper arrived on the Blue Brand, making it clear that he's always considered MSG his home, and then reflected on all the great legends and superstars that have come through the halls of the world's most famous arena. However, before he could continue, the dead man was interrupted by Sami Zayn, who insisted The Undertaker was a legend who has sold out Madison Square Garden for 30 years. The critic of critics claimed to have nothing but respect for the legend, but nevertheless openly questioned if The Undertaker should continue returning to MSG. Zayn stated the future was here, and his name was Sami Zayn. Undertaker didn't say anything when Zayn asked him to leave the ring, but spoke swiftly with action when he chokeslammed Sami, taking yet another soul in the hallowed halls of the Garden.
Yeah, so that was, interesting segment. I don't know how incorrect Sammy was. I'll put it that way. I love Taker. Seeing him chokeslam people's fun still.
Mm-hmm.
But it's almost one of those things where if we can't use him in a story for anything right now, like an actual story thing, right? Then why are we using him? Like, what's the why? If it's not something that has a big payoff, like a match or something, then why bring him in? And it makes me wonder, like, maybe they do have an idea for him versus Sami Zayn at some point, because Sammy's a little guy and can get thrown the fuck around by Taker still, but is also a goddamn professional and can protect him in moves and making him look great. If they are, then hell yes, fantastic. If they're not, I don't know how great it is to have him doing stuff like that, where he's just comes in, squashes, modern talent, and then fucks off for 6 months until there's a Saudi show that'll pay him 7 figures for the night.
Kind of reminds me of someone who disappeared for the last couple of weeks. Yep, that dude. Former Universal Champion.
Oh, yeah, Brocky Poo.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, at least Brock still shows up to non-Saudi events.
This is true.
He hasn't in the last little while, but I mean, I think right now, I don't know that he's under contract at the moment, so that's not a huge deal at the moment, but, when he's... And I mean, to be honest, with Brock, we know we're getting a match with him. Like, every time, we know we're getting a match with him, and he's gonna suplex the living fuck out of somebody, and it's gonna look cool, at least. With Taker, it might look cool, it might look horrific. We don't know where it's gonna go necessarily with Taker at this time. We don't even know if we're gonna get a match. So it just feels weird to have him go over on a guy like that so quickly, so emphatically, with no payoff for the younger guy, for the talent.
Okay. See what you're saying. Speaking of younger talent, we got The Miz defeating Andrade.
Yes. See? And this is an older guy going over a younger guy, but for a reason.
Yeah. Looking to pick up steam ahead of his Intercontinental title match against Shinsuke Nakamura this Sunday at WWE Clash of Champions. The Miz took on Andrade, with Nakamura providing guest commentary, but only speaking in Japanese. Miz was clearly looking to show out against his opposition. Andrade smothered Miz with a barrage of offense and tried to keep him grounded. However, rallied and chucked Andrade into Shinsuke in the commentary desk. Miz would then sift through all of Zelina Vega's interference attempts, and in the critical moments, would avoid a dazzling series of moonsaults from Andrade and connect with a skull-crushing finale for the win. However, Miz would have literally no time to celebrate, as right after the 3 count, WWE's Rockstar would blindside the A-lister, connecting with the ring-rattling Kinshasa, sending the direct and brutal message ahead of their clash at Clash this Sunday.
Sunday. Yeah, good match. Andrade's great. Miz is great. Shinsuke is amazing as a heel. Love that he's only talking in Japanese, only letting Sammy do his English speaking for him ever. That's fucking beautiful. I think that's just perfect. I love Shinsuke as champ, as IC champ. I just wish they'd do more with it. Like, this is the most they've done with it. I'm happy that now there's actually a story going on. I hope that continues with him, because they really need to, at some point before Shinsuke decides it's time to hang it up, they really need to put main event title on him, like a Universal or a WWE Championship. Yeah. He needs to get one of those. At least one.
Yeah, I think it's a matter of time. Don't they they usually put the IC title on the workhorse, and then shortly after the IC title, I say within a year,
I mean, it happens that
18
way.
months.
There's also people who get trapped in the mid-card title scene.
Yeah, because they're just happy they get a title kind of thing.
Kurt Hennig got the Intercontinental title, never got the heavyweight title.
Oh, yeah, there's wallops of people who
tons.
Wallops of people.
Pat Patterson.
Godfather.
X-Pac.
Yeah.
There's lots of people who get those mid-card titles but don't ever get pushed up to the main event scene. I just don't want that to happen for Shinsuke, because that would be so foolish of them. And if it can happen to Mr. Perfect, it can happen to anybody.
Because he was
perfect. Mr. Perfect is one of the greatest technical wrestlers of all time. So for it's not out of the realm of possibility that could happen, and I would fucking hate for that to happen.
That would be terrible.
That would be.
Nikki Cross defeats Mandy Rose. This is an interesting match, y'all. This match was y'all. Again, the way the SmackDown is using their women
superior.
Yeah. Mandy Rose did not exactly ingratiate herself to Nikki Cross before. Yeah, I sound like I knew that word. Yeah, not to Nikki Cross before this matchup started. In fact, she straight up called her ugly. That proved to be far less than wise in the early goings, as Cross sprinted out the gates literally and brought the fight right to Rose. God's greatest creation would do her best to quell Nikki's attack, but Alexa Bliss would neutralize Sonya Deville at ringside, and Nikki would then catch God's greatest creation with a picture-perfect roll-up for the win. Nikki and Alexa. I don't know who the fuck I got Alexander from.
Cedric Alexander, maybe?
Alexander, yeah, probably. And then there's Alexander Supertramp, you know what I mean? Shout out to Zone!
Zone! Just Zone?
Just Zone, you know what I mean? Nikki and Alexa had gained their momentum heading into their title defense against Fire and Desire this Sunday at WWE Clash of Champions. But would tonight's loss ignite a new spark for Mandy and Sonya heading into the weekend?
Yeah, I mean, good match. Sonya, Fire and Desire is a dope-ass tag team. Their finisher is awesome. I love that. Spinning leg sweep, elbow combination is fantastic.
They should call it a glamour shot.
They should call it the glamour shot. That's not a racist finisher name. I like it.
No. I knew one of them was me. Oh, man.
But yeah, I mean, good match. They're all great. The match at Clash of Champions we'll get to, but it was very good as well. These are my boys, though. Heavy Machinery. I love
Heavy Machinery.
I love these boys. Oh, yeah! Fucking Tucky and Otis are just fucking hilarious motherfuckers.
Alright, go ahead.
There you go, perfect. Well, I'm far away, so it's fair that I get a short one. The hallowed halls of Madison Square Garden are now officially blue-collar strong. Otis and Tucker made very quick work of a tandem of local competitors, absolutely demolishing them like a bulldozer would a worn-down building, and finishing them off with a compactor for the ages. And boy, was it. It was a heavy, 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 heavy slam. Pun intended. They are big boys.
615 pounds between the two of them.
My God.
Like,
that's
just,
fucked.
You know what I mean?
That's so fucked.
Go.
Can you imagine having that on top of you in a body press scenario?
Jeez.
That's just fucking unnecessary.
Yeah. Okay.
And then the biggest mystery of all time.
Oh, yeah. Is this the end of SmackDown? Is this the last one? No.
Should have been.
Should have been. Could have been. Okay. We got this one.
Oh, actually, no, it shouldn't have because Kofi.
Oh, yeah. Roman Reigns and Eric Rowan threw down in chaotic brawl. Oh, my gosh, I want to talk about Sunday. We're almost there. Eric Rowan arrived to SmackDown Live at Madison Square Garden with a clear message that we didn't know him at all. Rowan would suggest that we look him in the eyes and realize he is a master manipulator. Excuse me. Roman Reigns insisted. No, he didn't. He didn't insist at all. Roman Reigns instead would just want to fight him. The big dog would dart out and meet Rowan, and the two brutes went at it throughout the world's most famous arena. Reigns would drop Eric with multiple Superman punches, But Rowan responded by grabbing a fan from the stands and powerbombing him into Reigns and the security personnel, trying to break up the two superstars. Rowan then would double everyone in sight, but the big dog would not stop trying to get a measure of retaliation on Rowan. However, Eric would take it to another level by literally grabbing a Roman camera and flinging it into Reigns. As Rowan departed and Reigns rose to his feet, one question arose. What the heck would go down between these two when they collided Sunday at WWE Clash of Champions? This is Tough Talks with Thili and Dablock. Every time I see them mention the Clash of Champions, I'm going to counter. I'm going to counter.
Yeah, cool segment. Rowan versus Roman is more interesting than I would have thought it would be, because Rowan is really good in the ring when they let him do like everything he can do. And as we'll get to, he's even better when he has a friend with him.
Yeah. I gotta clean my glasses. My eyes are starting to water, so y'all gotta give me a second. You know what I mean? This is real life 101. We live.
I'll do like elevator music.
All right. Bayley defeats Ember Moon with her WWE Clash of Champions opponent, Charlotte Flair, providing guest commentary. SmackDown Women's Champion Bayley took on Ember Moon on SmackDown Live. Bayley's new aggressive side would show itself early, with Bayley bringing the fight to Moon on the outside, just mere steps away from the Queen. The Phenom would never give in, but Bayley would prove to be too much, putting Ember away with a belly to it says a belly to Bayley for the win.
It's supposed to be the other way around.
It's supposed to be a belly to belly, right? Yeah.
Fools.
For the win. The Flair would square right up to Bayley, and the two would come eye to eye, with each clearly believing that they had the edge on Sunday.
Yeah, and I mean, their match on Sunday was shocking. It was crazy, like, the way it played out. The result wasn't shocking, but, like, that opening couple seconds was like, whoa, what the fuck?
Hey, did that happen?
Yep. Same with the Cedric AJ match. They both had crazy, off-the-wall starts.
All right. Kofi Kingston's return to Madison Square Garden came full circle in brutal fashion.
This is a beautiful throwback.
Yep. WWE Champion Kofi Kingston would arrive to SmackDown Live at MSG, reflective on the night where Kingston battered Randy Orton from pillar to post in the world's most famous arena. A night that altered his career. However, Kofi's trip down memory lane would soon be interrupted, and there was some disdain. It's multiple chants of stupid from Orton.
Stupid.
The Viper would then claim Kingston was nothing but a fraud, statements that had Kofi immediately ready to fight ahead of their WWE Clash of Champions slate this Sunday. The Apex Predator would trick Kofi, though, having a steel chair concealed where he could immediately use it to trash Kingston near the iconic spot that Kingston bested him in the Garden decades ago. The WWE Champion...
Sorry, a decade ago, not decades for sure, right?
Yeah, definitely not decades.
Okay, I was going to say, did they write decades? Because I will...
No, it was definitely a decade ago, yeah.
These guys have been going since the Attitude Era.
You know what I mean? The WWE Champion would battle back, though obtaining the chair that Orton brought into the equation and striking Orton multiple times with vigor. Kingston primed to repeat history and smash Orton through a table yet again in MSG. Kofi would finally keep Randy down for one final strike of the chair, and then created a full circle moment, driving the Viper through yet another table with dazzling splash from the stands of MSG. Advantage Kofi, at least for tonight.
Yeah, that was scary that he went over at the show.
Yeah.
That was terrifying.
Yo, I was just like, is this... Wait a minute, hold on. I'm telling you, they're listening. They're listening, and
terrifying.
they heard about the WWE math, and they're like, we control the WWE math. You don't control the WWE math. And that's what I like about it, because it's like interactive. It's one of the most interactive shows ever.
Oh, yeah,
I remember
they listen.
They listen to the crowd. They watch the social media feeds. They pay attention to that stuff
all day.
So
no, they're very smart for that. This was cool.
oh yeah. Oh, hold on.
Don't do that shit.
Yo, my bad. Oh, okay. Shane
Son
McMahon
of a
fired
bitch.
Kevin Owens. Hey, what'd you say about my mama?
You're fired.
Shane McMahon fired Kevin Owens after Chad Gable advanced to the King of the Ring final. Okay. With Elias having to withdraw from the King of the Ring tournament due to injury, Shane McMahon promised to find his replacement for the crooning superstar the semifinal match against Chad Gable, and he did. Shane McMahon, with Kevin Owens as special guest referee per Shane O'Mac's edict, promising to lift KO's $100,000 fine if he called the contest quote-unquote down the middle. Gable would defeat the best of the world in mere seconds with the astonishing rolling German suplex. However, Shane wouldn't make it, immediately vamping the microphone at his matchup, now saying it was 2 out of 3 falls. Shane would come into the deflated Gable with intensity while KO had clearly distressed by Shane flexing authority. Gable continually battled through Shane's obstacles and would appear close on victory several times. With Owens worrying about Shane not lifting the fine, he would begin to make borderline questionable decisions as the official. Gable found a way to eliminate all the variables, though catching Shane O'Mac in an ankle lock, forcing Shane to tap out and advancing his way to the King of the Ring tournament final. Following defeat, Shane would absolutely incense, blindsiding KO from behind, then firing the former Universal Champion in one of the most shocking moments in MSG history.
The blog just did an interpretive dance style thing there, where he was reading that as fast as Kevin was counting at the end.
Hey man, I looked at like 4 paragraphs.
Yeah, no, I feel ya.
You know what
I feel ya. Yeah, crazy match. That rolling German suplex was fucking unbelievable.
Rolling, I can't call it Rolling Thunder. Rolling Wonder. You know what I mean? The Wonder Bomb. The Wonder Bomb, yes.
I like that too.
Yeah.
But yeah, great match. And led into Clash of Champions very well. Because I think we should just start Clash of Champions. Because god damn it.
Yeah.
Those were long Raw review and SmackDown review this week. Holy shit.
Like, I was just thinking, like, did
we fit all that in 3 and 2 hours?
Yeah.
Oh, motherfucker.
We're at 1 hour and 10 minutes, so, you know, we gotta...
Motherfucker.
We gotta...
Well, it's fine, because next week is when we have to start covering NXT.
Yeah, oh my gosh. So we're gonna be, like, we're gonna be at least 1.5 hours. Because if we were just covering Raw and SmackDown, we'd be done, but, like...
Yep.
1.5 hours, 2 hours. Okay, so where is... was it the 15th?
Yeah, go down, scroll down. Now this is it. I think they just do this on those where you have to.
Oh, okay.
So I think what we should do here, go up, and we'll just go through them from our
perspective.
Yeah, our recollections.
Okay.
'Cause we don't need to. We love Anthony Bonino and whatever the other guy's name is, but you know whatever.
Yeah, we don't need to read all that stuff.
So, okay, go down, I guess. Cause they do it in reverse order here? Like, what the fuck, Skittles?
Skittles.
What are you doing to us?
Taste the rainbow.
Taste all the rainbows and shit.
Okay. I don't see how this...
Nope, that's not right. Go, let's go up to the top.
Okay. Technical difficulties, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah, go up. Oh, there. Results.
So I knew it was there. I just...
Yeah. We should still just go through the headlines and then go over them.
Oh, yeah, because I watched it, so I could actually...
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
We got this.
Oh, man, this is what happened.
So,
okay, it's from the bit.
Yeah, pre-show. This was a okay match.
Okay, this one, you know what? I got to shout out my dude, Lindsay Dorado, because... Like,
Lindsay's a savage.
Lindsay's a savage for one, and for two, he was the first WWE superstar to add me on Twitter.
There you go.
You know what I mean? Like, that was big for me.
There you go.
So,
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
and Lindsay's dope.
Yeah.
Drew Gulak's dope. Who I'm not so sold on yet is Humberto Carrillo.
Like, do you need dimples that deep to
Do ya?
survive?
Do you?
Like-
And also, if you're gonna have dimples like that, you should get some charisma to go with them.
Yeah, there was.
He's really good in ring. Like, his technical skill is on point, but like, he can do high flying shit. He can do holds. He can do all that. But there's nothing about him that draws me in.
You're saying he doesn't have that Mysterio or that Metalik.
Definitely not.
You know,
At least not yet. He may one day, but right now, no. He's an NXT cat.
It's almost like he feels like he should be there, kind of thing. Without.
Well, and I think he is. I feel like they just gave him a program on 205s, but he should just be. I think he should be sticking on NXT for a while. Which, I mean, I guess technically he will anyways, because 205 Live is gonna merge into NXT.
Sure.
Which I think is actually overall better for the 205 Live guys than 205 just continuing to be stapled onto the front of or end of SmackDowns.
Yeah.
You know, they'll have their own audience.
Because NXT is only an hour, right?
2. It's going to 2 hours.
Now it's going to 2, but like before it was only an hour.
Yeah.
Okay.
But now it going to 2 hours with this additional talent and stuff in there, perfect.
What throws me out, I think, wait, hold on. So Bischoff's going to Fox? I think so he can get more. So yeah, he's going to have one. I think when it goes to Fox.
SmackDown,
Yeah.
Heyman's Raw,
Yeah.
and Hunter is NXT.
Yeah, so I think it's going to be a little bit more, like, less
They're not
PG.
on Fox.
Who?
NXT's not on Fox.
No, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah,
NXT and Raw are going to stay
Oh,
on
yeah,
USA.
yeah.
But,
And
like,
SmackDown will be more
like,
PG.
yeah.
Probably.
Yeah.
I'm good with that. I like
yeah.
that. That's a good idea. You have to make the brands feel different.
Yeah.
They can't feel like the same show, because otherwise, why is there brands?
Exactly, and I think that's why they're spacing it out.
Yeah, exactly.
And
It's
changing
smart,
it.
and that's
Yeah.
why we get Monday, Wednesdays, and Fridays now.
Yeah.
A lot of wrestling.
That's a lot of wrestling.
I love it. I'm happy with it.
SmackDown's going back to Fridays
Yeah.
and staying live.
Oh yeah.
Okay, I gotta.
Friday night, Monday Night Raw, Wednesday NXT, and Friday Night SmackDown.
Okay,
Love it.
nice. Okay, United States Champion AJ Styles defeats Cedric Alexander.
Yeah. So this was crazy that this was on the pre-show, but I think it's almost good that it was on the pre-show. They got a lot of time to do what they wanted. It brings more eyes to the pre-show because AJ and Cedric are having a U.S. title match on it.
Yep.
And it was a fucking banger of a match.
It
It's amazing. It was one of the best matches of the night, easily.
Yeah, acrobatic.
And all the matches were good last night or on Sunday, but this was a standout by far. AJ hit some fucking ridiculous moves. He hit him with a hardcore Super Styles Clash, which was awesome. And this feud continues. Like, it's going to continue on for at least a little bit more. I think these two at Hell in a Cell will probably have something cool, like a ladder match. That's my guess right now. I don't know if they'll give it a gimmick match. I think it deserves one, and it's one of the few times that it would be appropriate. And yeah, I think that'd be great. I love what AJ's doing right now, where the whole thing is, I'm going to make all the young talent look like as much money as possible on this last contract. So he is doing exactly what you should do when you're on your way out of the business, which is set the business up to be better off, leave it in a better place than how you found it.
True. That's a good way of looking at it. Okay. This one was a bit of a shocker to me. Not really like unexpected, but still, it was like
baffling is the word you're looking for.
Yeah.
Why?
Because
we can skip this one.
Yeah, Dolph Ziggler and Robert Roode defeated Seth Rollins and Braun Strowman to become the new Raw Tag Team Champions. That's all you really need to know about that one.
Yeah. Just gross. There's no reason for Dolph Ziggler to be a tag team champion in 2019. Get him off my TV. Like,
SmackDown Women's Champion Bayley defeated Charlotte Flair. That one for me was funny as hell. The finish, oh my gosh, gone. Like, yo,
bolted out of the arena.
Over.
Bayley stole the championship defense by, while the camera wasn't looking. This was genius. Camera wasn't looking. She pulled the padding off of the bottom turnbuckle, smashed Charlotte's face into it, and then pinned her 1, 2, 3. Grabbed her belt and ran faster than any human has ever ran in the history of humans out of that arena.
Yep.
Beautiful. Beautiful finish. I loved it. I don't know who came up with that finish, but fuck me. That was so good. I think it was especially good as a way of starting Bayley's true heel run, because this time she didn't do it for Sasha. You know, she didn't do it because she's Sasha's friend and has to pick one of the two to stick with, right? This time she did it because she's a chicken shit heel who is going to steal victories wherever she can to hold on to that belt for as long as she can, because she's terrified of going back to what she was before she got it. And that is amazing storytelling.
Mm-hmm. It is.
Yeah.
Okay.
So that was a good one.
Alright, then we have... Oh, this will be one for you. The Revival defeat
Top
the
guys.
New Day to become the new
Top guys.
SmackDown Tag Team Champions.
Top
This
guys.
one straight up pissed me off. I'm sitting here like,
Top guys.
Are you serious? Like, we
Top
can't
guys.
keep the three of them? You can't allow
Top
the three
guys.
titles to stay in the one faction?
Top guys.
Like, what is your problem with the man's them holding it down for an extended period of time without
Top guys.
sniping them? Like, yo, New Day?
I'm sorry. Well, let's talk about that for a second.
New Day?
Let's talk about that. Can't give these guys an extended run without sniping them.
What do you say?
I'm a Ed Lover head tilt you. Come on, son. What the fuck are you talking about? Who are the longest reigning tag team champions of all time in the history of the World Wrestling Federation and Entertainment?
I believe that's the New Day.
So we can give them a long extended run without sniping them. In fact, one could say that we've given them several of those, and that top guys have never had an extended run as champions.
They had a run. They had a couple months.
Not an extended run. Yeah, a couple months.
Yeah, man. A couple months.
The New Day had a year and a half.
Brock had like almost like.
Yeah, because
Brock
they
more
had
than a year and
to
a half.
squash CM Punk's record, because CM Punk is CM Punk.
He's still the second longest rating.
No, he's third.
Third.
Yeah, because Brock is second.
Oh yeah, Bruno Sammartino's first.
No. Well, that's of all time. The
Modern era.
modern era is Pete Dunne, who held the NXT UK Championship
Oh right.
for almost 2 years straight.
Yeah. The Bruiserweight.
The Bruiserweight, baby.
The Bruiserweight.
But yeah, I mean, it's the top guy's time. Fists, no flips. The New Day and their cheating ways can go
Cheating
back to
ways?
the you know.
Nah,
they always
don't. Just
cheat.
because they were outsmarted doesn't mean they were cheat.
They push people into the corner and then do all these quick tags and
Stomp
stomp
the
people.
fuck out of them. Exactly.
That's not
yes,
right. That's
man.
mean.
That is
No, that's
Team
not
Tactics
kind.
101.
That's
Unicorn. I named it the Unicorn Stampede.
That's
damn it. The Unicorn Stampede.
That's unsportsmanlike
Yes.
conduct.
Yes.
And you couldn't do that in a lot of things. So I saying that's cheating. And the Revival, who have always played by the rules, are finally being respected for their honesty and
The revival,
sportsmanship.
the Snake tag team who just wants to run up and like super RKO
Snake?
people.
Snake tag team.
Snake
tag team.
Oh my gosh.
That's unfounded.
Okay.
I will be tweeting Dash and Dawson immediately following this episode to let them inform their lawyers so they can figure out what to do about that slander.
Okay. Oh, we're just gonna move on to the next one.
It's probably for the best. I don't know how much longer I can keep this up.
I mean, like, dude,
Top guys.
the WWE Women's Tag Team Champions Alexa Bliss and Nikki Cross defeat Mandy Rose and Sonya Deville.
Only tag team to hold on to their titles at Clash of Champions.
Yeah.
The only ones
Yeah.
were Alexa and Nikki, which is good for them. I love it. I like them as a team. Alexa was looking amazing in that Harley Quinn gear, bringing that back. Loved it. And yeah, the match was really good. There was a couple moments where I was legit thinking that they might throw those belts on Fire and Desire. Like they, Mandy and Sonya hit that the glamour shot. That's the best name for it. The
Glamour shot. I'm
It's
telling
so
you.
good. They hit that glamour shot, and all of a sudden, just.
I'm gonna
fucking-
tweet them right
I
now.
really thought they were gonna win.
I'm gonna tweet them right now. Keep it going.
Yeah.
Keep it going.
So the next one we had was the Intercontinental Championship. Shinsuke Nakamura defeated The Miz, of course, by a beautiful Kinshasa. This match, there wasn't too much to this match. The best part of the match, besides Nakamura's incredible Kinshasa, was Sami Zayn on the outside with the microphone, giving the play-by-play, which is always a pleasure. I love that Sami does that. I hope they never stop having him do that. It's just so goddamn fun. After that, we had Sasha Banks defeating the Raw Women's Champion Becky Lynch, which, oh my god, new champ, no, via disqualification.
That's fake.
Becky hit the referee with a chair, ref bump. That was nice to see. Haven't seen a good one of those in a little while.
What is Mandy Rose's Twitter?
Trish Stratus 2019.
Oh man.
Yeah, I don't know.
Okay. I got Sonya Deville's.
Yeah.
Never mind. We good.
But what was it again? What was I at? Oh yeah, disqualification. She hit the ref with a chair accidentally, and then her and Sasha battled up the concourse, or up the steps in the arena into the concourse. Went around a corner, down the next steps, back into the ring. Got separated by the brawl. Got separated by refs, and Becky stood tall. I do think Sasha Banks is going to be the one to take that belt off of Becky. Yeah, I just don't know if it's going to be at Hell in a Cell, or if they'll wait until after Survivor Series, which would be just tables, ladders, and chairs in December. So I don't know when, but I think it'd be amazing if they ended the year with Sasha holding that belt on the top of the ladder.
Yeah, TLC would be a fitting.
TLC, I think, would be the best place to do that.
I mean, Hell in a Cell
It's just
would
a
be
good
a good
bookend
one.
to the year.
Yeah. Hell
in a Cell would be good too.
But
I think
TLC would be
I think
better.
that's the place to do it, to have her on top of that ladder, holding it up, victorious. You know what I mean?
Complete sense.
Yeah.
And I told her that we're live now, so
Perfect.
if Sonya Deville is tuning in, you know what I mean?
If Sonya and Mandy aren't balls deep in a box of donuts,
You know what I mean? Oh my gosh.
doing their podcast about donuts,
They do a podcast about donuts?
Demand These Nuts,
Demand these nuts.
Yeah.
Wow.
right?
Oh my gosh,
Dario
you're down.
Arnaudo,
Like, I knew there was
Mandy.
something about her I liked.
Genius.
I knew there was
I love
something
them
about her
both.
that I liked.
They're
You know
both
what I mean?
great. They're both
Oh,
great. They're both fantastic.
That's awesome.
It's so good.
Like, can we get a special spot out there or something?
I know, right?
You can bring some of your like gluten-free donuts.
Yeah, get them down here. We'll bring fucking French crullers, gluten-free French crullers to them.
Don't worry, we're expanding. What do we expand? That's why I need a warehouse. I can't just get a house. I need like a bungalow that's like a warehouse type deal. You know what I mean? Give me some 25-foot ceilings and shit. Like, you know what I mean? I want to be able to throw a fucking football across my living room. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's what's up. But
yeah. So I mean, I think TLC Hell in a Cell is also a very solid option. I don't think it would diminish it much. I don't think it would diminish it at all. I just think TLC would elevate it. No pun intended.
Yeah, ladder match, TLC, get it, elevate, because you're going up.
Boom.
Yo, come on now. All right, so now we got WWE champion Kofi Kingston defeated Randy Orton. How did he cheat?
Kidding.
It's not. Listen.
This one I'm okay with, especially since I don't want Randy to be a champion. But top guys have to be champions.
Unfortunately, I feel like Randy's gonna get a championship. If he gets another round at him, he might actually take the title. 14, man. Like, I don't know if they're gonna give him enough title runs to tie Cena and Flair. But you sound like you had something to say, so I would just let you say that instead of grumbling.
No, that is what I'm saying. I'm just grumbling at the idea of Randy Orton getting another title reign.
Just like, am I missing something here? Like,
it would be the second fucking time in a row that Randy gets a title reign off of someone that I love having a title on, which is garbage. Because the last time, if we all remember, he took my boy Bray Wyatt's title.
Yeah.
After Elimination Chamber.
But then Jinder took it from him.
Which, let's not even get into that.
I know, Jinder took it from, like,
atrocious.
How did Jinder have the title for 6 months?
That was the worst thing that came out of Randy taking it off Bray, was Jinder getting a 6-month fucking title reign out of it. Those that fucking Punjabi prison. Never mind. We're not talking about that. We're talking about Clash of Champions. Randy versus Kofi was amazing.
Yeah.
Great match.
Yeah.
Great
match. Yeah.
Great match.
Oh man, yeah. Eric Rowan defeated Roman Reigns in a no disqualification match.
All by himself.
With some assistance.
All by himself.
With some assistance.
With nobody else there.
Oh my gosh. Well, nobody else means Luke Harper didn't boot fuck his face as he was going to spear Rowan. Then, yeah.
The return.
Oh my gosh.
My boy, Luke Harper.
I was astonished, I tell you.
Very pleased. I was very pleasantly surprised because I had read a report not 3 days before that about having zero expectations of Luke Harper being used in the next 6 months. So that was a very pleasant surprise. I love Luke Harper. I think he is supremely underrated. I think he is heavyweight Chad Gable.
Who?
Luke Harper.
Harper is heavyweight Chad. Oh my gosh, like he's a
so
luchador.
underused.
He's a luchador in his fucking.
He's incredibly athletic.
And he's shredded at least.
Deceptively athletic.
He's dropped at least another 20 pounds.
Yeah, he's great, man.
He looks like
Luke looks shredded.
He's ready to go.
Very happy to see him back. I'm very happy. I love Luke Harper.
Yeah.
Thank you, WWE, for bringing my boy Luke back.
Yeah, man. Y'all needs to pay him right.
Yeah, exactly. Pay him right and give him TV time. That man needs to be seen.
Yeah. Just like I need to get information from these people I'm trying to get information from. All right, but we're going to go to the Universal Champion Seth Rollins defeating Braun Strowman.
With not one, not two, not three, but 4 stomps. 4 fucking curb stomps it took to take Braun Strowman down. Thank you.
To keep Braun Strowman down.
Yes, thank you for putting that many in, because Braun, after only having to take like 1 F5 to be beat by Brock, that was atrocious. He should have taken like 3 of those. So for him to take 4 of the stomp was beautiful, because he took more of the stomps to put down than Brock did. Brock only took 3.
Yeah, and I think that was the point they were going for.
Yeah, so it was too. They're very much putting Braun over Brock in that sense. So I like it. I think it was a good way to end this little feud. It's a bummer to see Strowman be 0-3 for Universal title opportunities now.
But he is two-time WWE Tag Team Champion, so
he is. Yeah, him and Nicholas won, and then him and Seth Rollins
yep.
won. But yeah, it's he does deserve a Universal title run at some point, and I think that after Bray Wyatt beats Seth Rollins at Hell in a Cell for the Universal title, that
plausible.
It's happening. Write it down, boys. That is happening. When Bray wins that, I think we do a Braun versus Bray program after Bray defends it a couple times, so that on his 5th attempt, notice I'm saying 5th, even though he's currently on his 3rd, he will win that Universal title off of Bray Wyatt. The man who held him down and brainwashed him and put him in this Wyatt family for years. The man he will fail to beat at a pay-per-view, probably at, let's say, Tables, Ladders, and Chairs. He will lose to Bray Wyatt. And I saw that. Oh yeah, so him beating the man who did all those things to him, and then the man who beats him at TLC in some brutal fucking fashion, and is doing all this Firefly Funhouse shit to pretend to be his friend, and trying to re-brainwash Braun. I think at the Royal Rumble, Braun Strowman becomes Universal Champion.
Royal Rumble, okay.
Or WrestleMania.
Maybe they'll make
one of the
it
two.
WrestleMania.
Because I feel like Bray should fight at Survivor Series against Kofi. Because Kofi should still be champion at Survivor Series. It should be Bray versus Kofi at Survivor Series. Bray versus someone else. Let's say, maybe not AJ. AJ's fucking heel, and he should stay heel. Some other face on maybe Chad Gable but he's on SmackDown. Someone from Raw. He'll face them at Clash of Champions. Face Braun at Royal Rumble. Beat him at Royal Rumble. Or Braun wins the Royal Rumble and punches his ticket to WrestleMania to face the champion. Bray defends his title at Rumble. Defends it again. And then loses it at WrestleMania to Braun Strowman. That's my vague...
That sounded very specific to me.
I mean, it's vague on who the other people will be in between then. Because I don't know. They could go with literally anybody. But I feel like that's a solid run for Bray. About the same length as Seth would have from WrestleMania to then. And then you put it on Braun Strowman finally, who's been fighting for it at that point for 3 years. And it's an amazingly told story over the course of 5 to 6 years. Like, him winning over Bray at WrestleMania is a 6-year story. How often do we get solid 6-year stories out of WWE? We got Kofi and Randy right now, which is a 10-year story. But what's another 6-year one that we've had recently?
I
Not
can't
many.
even think of one. The Hardys.
I mean, that's a forever story because they're brothers. That's built in. But this is one consistent that's so genius. They have to do something like that because they're setting it up right now. It's not genius that I'm thinking of it because they're setting all of that up. Everything they're doing right now feeds into that so well. And I don't think you want to go too much longer without Braun holding something major. tag titles are nice, but essentially a mid-card title the way they're treated in WWE.
Yeah.
IC title would be cool. US title's cool. Sure, shit ain't making it to 205.
17-time champion. R-Truth.
Yes, boy.
You know what I mean?
He is now. He as of yesterday, he was the Ric Flair of the 24/7 title.
Yep.
So you're telling me now he is 17?
17.
Nice. I will have to look. Yeah.
From what Renee Young said on so as of now,
Yesterday was 16.
Yesterday was 16. Yesterday was 17. He lost it and then he got it back again, I think.
To become 16, I think.
According to what Renee said, it was 17, but I could be wrong.
Renee's a Canadian. What does she know?
As much as we do, dude. We're Canadian too. Oh man.
Thili Graves. So I mean, Clash of Champions was a great pay-per-view. It was awesome. I thoroughly enjoyed everything in it. Like I said, them bringing Luke back makes that Eric Rowan Roman Reigns match that much sweeter for me. So I love it. So the only other thing that we have to get through, and thankfully it is the only other thing that we have to, is UFC. Now, I don't have too much that I have to say about the UFC that just passed, but there is something, which is Michael Pereira is a Brazilian fighter who was 22 wins and 9 losses in the welterweight division of the UFC, going up against Tristan Connolly. Now, if that name doesn't sound familiar to anybody listening, it shouldn't. Tristan Connolly was essentially brought in as a can. And anybody who doesn't follow the more combat side of the combat sports, like UFC and MMA and boxing, a can in fight terms means somebody that you can beat. And on 6 days' notice, Tristan Connolly, who had 11 wins and 6 losses, so he's got more than half of the number of wins he has in losses at this point in his short fight career. But that doesn't mean you should go in and disrespect somebody and start acting a fool and trying to break dance during your introduction and doing backflips in the middle of the cage to try to spice up your moves because you just don't think anything of this kid. And that's what Michael Pereira did. This Tristan Connolly kid he's from Vancouver, Canada. The UFC event on Saturday was in Vancouver, Canada.
Oh no, I see where you're going with this.
And he's trying to embarrass this kid in his hometown on a fight that this kid was brave enough to jump up into the UFC rankings and take on 6 days' notice. 6 days. Some people take 6 months for fight camp. This kid did it in 6 days. And this guy tried to embarrass him, and he got his ass kicked. The reason he got his ass kicked was because in trying to disrespect this kid, he was doing literally cartwheels and backflips and jumping off the cage and shit in the middle of the round. 2 minutes of doing that will exhaust you. And Michael Pereira, despite being very clearly the more technically skilled fighter, threw all of his technical advantage away by getting gassed 2.5 minutes into the first round of a 3-round, 15-minute fight. By the end of the first round, Pereira was on his back getting elbowed in the face by somebody who had maybe a quarter of the grappling skill and a person who had a quarter of the physical strength and a quarter of the fucking striking ability. And this kid smashed this guy's face in for about 12 minutes straight and got a 30-27 by all judges decision victory over somebody who should have knocked his ass out in about 13 seconds. So let that be a lesson to everybody. Do not ever underestimate your opponent. Or if you are underestimating them, don't let it show. Because you will make very silly mistakes. Anybody who thinks I might be blowing this out of proportion, please be my guest. Go to UFC Fight Pass, get your free week trial, and pull up that event. Or find it online somewhere and watch Michael Pereira versus Tristan Connolly, UFC Fight Night, Vancouver, Canada, UFC Fight Night 158, Saturday, September 14th. Go find that online and tell me I'm overreacting. This guy was a goddamn fool, and I'm glad he lost the way he did. The only reason I don't wish he would have got knocked out is because it's more embarrassing to sit there for 15 minutes lying underneath someone who's, basically a white belt to your black belt, and he's smashing your face in.
Yeah.
Like, that's just... It was unbelievable. I haven't seen someone be that disrespectful since Michael Jackson versus CM Punk. CM Punk's second fight in the UFC, if you can call it a fight, where the guy who also was not very skilled was just toying with him for 3 rounds instead of going for a finish. I haven't seen, and before that, I'd never seen something that foolish before in a UFC event. So that was horrible. The only other fight that we got to talk about last thing today was the main event from that card. It was Donald Cerrone versus Justin Gaethje, which, as we talked about, my prediction was all 3 men in that cage would die.
Yeah.
That didn't happen. Justin Gaethje knocked Donald out.
What?
In 1 round.
Oh my gosh.
4 minutes and 18 seconds into the very first round, Justin Gaethje knocked Donald Cerrone into another dimension, where Donald Cerrone was clearly unconscious. The referee didn't stop it. Justin looked at the referee, said he's out. The referee didn't stop him, so he punched him. He punched Donald like twice more. Donald was just on his knees with his forearms on the ground, not defending himself at all. Justin looks at the referee again. The ref still doesn't stop it, even though the fighter who's standing is looking at you and the other guy's not doing anything. And he goes, okay, boom, and then the ref stops it.
Whoa.
Justin had to look at the ref and tell him to stop it twice before it got stopped. And then after it was stopped, Donald still got up and argued that he shouldn't have stopped it. And as he was trying to, punch drunkenly, argue, no, I'm good, let's keep going, to the referee, Justin Gaethje did the most stand-up guy sportsman thing in the world and literally just walked up to Donald, grabbed him with both arms, and just gave him a big hug and said, I fucking love you, man. I fucking love you. You're the fucking man. And then usually in a UFC fight, post-fight interview, the winner stands there with Joe Rogan or John Anik or Daniel Cormier and talks it out about the fight, right? Well, this time we had Donald Cerrone and Justin Gaethje with their arms around each other doing a tandem tag team interview with Daniel Cormier after the fight. That is sportsmanship, which was very nice to see, especially after the Pereira fight. But yeah, it was a good card overall. The best fight was Justin Gaethje versus Cowboy Cerrone, to nobody's surprise at all. Second best fight was a little earlier in the main card. Misha Serkinov got a first-round submission on Jim Crute, which was unbelievable. That was a great fight. And then there was an awful fight that ended in a no contest because of an eye poke. And you never want to see that because it was an unintentional eye poke, obviously, but
it was a deep eye poke, and the fighter was saying he was seeing double. You have to take him at his word for that. So it's, you can't have someone going in there taking punches when they're unable to see what punches are coming from where.
Yeah.
So, it was a weird night. The one before that, we had Abu Dhabi show. That's awesome. The Abu Dhabi show was pretty good. Khabib obviously won, but Tony will be back. Dustin Poirier will be back. And Khabib versus Tony has to be next. Anybody who, if they don't make Khabib versus Tony Ferguson the next fucking lightweight title fight, then there's something seriously wrong going on, and I would have to look into I would need someone to spy on the conversations between Dana and that Dagestani to see who's deciding who he fights for his next 2 fights, so he can retire at 30-0. Because if he fights Tony, he's not retiring at 30-0. I'll tell you that right the fuck now. Tony Ferguson will present serious problems for Khabib Nurmagomedov when they fight.
Dude just said that name like it was an everyday name, like Smith or Johnson and some shit.
What, Khabib Nurmagomedov?
Yeah.
I like to be able to pronounce the names of the people I despise, and I want that man to lose more than I want anything right now.
Wow.
And it's not because I don't think he's a decent person or that I necessarily have problems with his father's connection to a Chechen who murders people for being gay. It's because I need to know that he can be defeated. Because a crazy Russian Muslim guy who is right now 28-0 and used to train by wrestling bears, that's a villain from any 80s action movie I've ever seen. And those guys, if the good guy can't beat them, if someone can't beat them, we're all fucked.
Yeah, well, you put it that way, I guess.
Khabib will roll up to, mark my words, if Khabib can't be beaten, he will retire at 30-0, and he will come to each and every one of your houses and wrap your legs up and just ground and pound you.
Sounds like a viable possibility. I'm concerned.
Khabib is scary. He's horrifying and boring. And that's a really scary combination. If something's horrifying and boring, you don't know which way you're going to die. Watching one of his fights or being in a fight against him.
Oh my goodness.
One of those ways is going to kill you, though.
Oh my goodness. That's great.
And on that note...
On that note... Oh man, we'd like to thank you for taking the time to listen to Tough Talks with Thili and Dablock. Tune in on Wednesday at 6 p.m. where you will hear Candid Conversations, and then on Friday, tune in again to hear Hardline with Interp and Dablock. And then we also have what started it all, the Terrell Effect, on Saturday.
Yes.
At 12 p.m. So come check that out. And then we have Tough Talks returning to our usual time.
Yes.
On Sunday?
Yes.
Okay. Yes. At, usual time around, what do we do around, like 2, 3? We do around 6.
Let's see. Yeah, we can do it whenever on Sunday. I actually have this Sunday off.
Okay, alright, cool. Because I usually go check some of my fam. My fam's going down to Jamaica.
Oh, nice.
So yeah, I'm going to check him out, and you know what I mean? See what's going on with him and all that, you know?
Yep.
So, you know, it's going to be fun. And one thing actually not a lot of people realize about, like, the wrestling business is that it's family oriented.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
It's very family oriented.
Yeah.
And I noticed this year recently they've been catering more towards the relationships.
Yeah, I mean, like, fucking, I started watching wrestling when I was, little kid. And me and my mom would go to my uncle's house
every pay-per-view. Every WCW pay-per-view,
Yeah.
every WWF pay-per-view. We'd be at my uncle's house, we'd have a steak, and we'd watch wrestling.
Yeah.
And then me and my uncle, and sometimes my mom, we would go to wrestling shows. We'd go to Raw in Toronto whenever it would come by.
Nice.
Me and my mom went to WWE WrestleMania Fan Access in Toronto when WrestleMania was in Toronto for X7. So yeah, it is a definitely it brings people together because you know it's a art and people love art, and when you can share art with your family, it's always going to have some sort of special place for you.
And you can meet like so many new people. It's like they're so like once people have common ground, they're so much nicer to each other.
Yeah.
And like they're at WWE events, that's common ground. Like I have some friends like I told you about these guys, the ones that I met when I went to the live event on the road to WrestleMania. Yeah. And this time we both went, and we were literally like, I was sitting down here and they were sitting up here.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It was like
absolutely.
It was so live, and we're trying to plan this year, like for this year coming around, like we're trying to get seats in close proximity to each other.
Yeah.
So,
well, I mean, even me and you, we met at a hip hop show,
Yeah.
but we went outside to smoke a blunt. I made a Eddie Guerrero joke, and
Yeah.
he said, Eddie Guerrero's not a name you hear every day.
No.
And then we started talking about wrestling, and I was like, I still watch the shit. And you're like, I fucking love it too. I talk
Yeah.
about it on the podcast. You should come on sometime. And then
Yeah.
now we do a fucking wrestling podcast every week together.
Yeah, man.
We fucking are during and after every fucking Raw and SmackDown, we're sending each other messages shitting on each other's fucking guys.
You know what I mean?
Fucking, Block's getting top guys messages in the middle of fucking pay-per-view.
Oh man. Meanwhile, I'm just sitting there like I'm not gonna ruin
Yeah,
it for you. I'm not gonna
Top
ruin
guys.
it for you.
So like,
man.
yeah, I mean, yeah, wrestling brings people together more
Yeah,
than
man,
anything.
for sure.
Like
for
more
sure.
than it drives people to argue and complain on Twitter and all that stupid
Oh, my
shit that
gosh.
gets like attention of it. Fucking people just bond over that shit all the time.
I'm telling you, it's live.
My boy Kirby, the guy who produced the Niagara Music Award nominated Heartbreakers.
Okay.
Me and him, like, we met in BC over music and stuff like that.
Wait, hold on. I was in that video. Do I get to come on stage with y'all?
Well, no, the video's not nominated.
Video's
so,
not nominated.
boo.
Oh, okay, so that doesn't matter. So, they didn't nominate the boo. Why'd you not? Oh my goodness, you're not serious.
Yeah, but yeah, me and Kirby were, we were boys doing music and stuff like that. No,
So a different guy.
Okay. Steve French.
Oh, French. Okay.
We met when we met in BC. We met over music. We're working together and stuff like that. And then I went over to record a track over a beat that I had made out of a Katy Perry sample.
Okay.
And I had a bar where I said that I was Terry Hogan American, real. And a Macho Man Randy Savage line in the same like bar somewhere. I can't remember what it was though. And Kirby stopped the recording after I said it the first time. He's like, "I'm sorry, what?" And we started talking about wrestling more and more after that. We still talk about wrestling.
Oh, man. Yeah.
Shout out to Steve French.
Shout out to Steve French. You know what I mean? That's what
man.
it is. Yeah.
Wrestling's big in hip hop. Wrestling's big in hip hop.
What do you mean? Sasha Banks and Snoop Dogg's fucking cousin. Fuck
that. That's
that's a percentage of it. That has to be a percent. Like you have to draw the correlation because Snoop Dogg
I'll give it a
performed
0.006%.
Oh my gosh!
How much that has to do with anything?
And then you got to look.
I just mean like back in the day, man. You got tons of people. Killer Mike references wrestling all the fucking time.
Fucking Chaclair reference wrestling.
Chaclair, KRS-One, fucking Supernet.
Yeah, a myriad of
The
it.
list goes on and on. I mean, Action Bronson does it all the time. Hit you with that drop kick, Marty Jannetty.
Yeah.
He calls himself Bam Bam. after Bam Bam Bigelow.
I make my reference lines here and there. You know what I mean?
Yeah, you gotta. When you're a wrestling fan, you gotta represent, and there's a lot of them in hip hop that all represent.
Yeah.
You know, and rock world too. System of a Down's guitarist.
Like even when you get to something like something like a Def Jam Vendetta.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
That's all pro wrestling.
Exactly.
That's because they would play fucking WCW NWO Revenge on
yes,
tour and shit.
Exactly.
Like,
that was
the
man.
same system.
We could get into this
The
for
weeds.
like forever, bro. So we're gonna
cut it.
We're gonna cut it. All right. But thanks for tuning in. Listen in next week. Tune into our other podcasts. As we expose the North, remember to keep it Truman. Niagara Music Award nominated Troop Gang member Thili in the building.
Thank you, sir.
That's gonna make it so much harder to introduce him.
Yeah, you don't gotta do that. You don't gotta do that. That is not something that needs to be brought up a lot.
Okay. I'm just saying, recognition is given where it is deserved in this instance. You know what I mean?
I appreciate it.
That's all that I'm doing.
But next week, no more.
Okay. No
or
promises.
after the 29th. After the 29th, no more.
Yeah, we'll see.
Because then you got to say winner.
Okay. All right, here's open. All right, so
I'm going heel on everyone in the build-up.
Oh, man, wherever it is and wherever you be, tune in to us for the 1, 2, 3.
Boom.